Dobra, cisza. 28 sekund. 70 000 widzów. Nowa liga w PoE, data 6 marca. Nazwa ligi Mirage. Paweł w Exile Mirage. I jest to stream zapowiadający tą ligę i przedstawiający mechaniki tej ligi. No. Uwaga. Start. Z chatem oglądniemy.
Hi, I'm Jonathan Rogers from
F11.
Grinding Gear Games.
Yeah,
Welcome
man.
to GGG Live. Today we're going to show you an exclusive reveal of Path of Exile Mirage, which is coming out 1 week from now on March 6th.
Tak.
Twitch drops are enabled on today's livestream, so you'll be able to claim your Mirage weapon effect by following the instructions below. Now first things first, let's roll the trailer for Path of Exile Mirage.
The Jinn. They
O,
were
już mi się
bound
podoba.
to
Już mam
suffer,
ochotę zagrać.
but
Kurna.
not to suffer.
Dobre pierwsze wrażenie zrobili.
The Aphrodite assault our lands, trapping my Jinn in an astral plane. Break their chains, rescue them, and
Niszczysz.
you will be granted a wish.
Jak stara hazardzistka wygląda ona, jakby jakieś itemy miała.
An
Boss
ancient
był,
evil
Sirius był. Cisza.
yearns for
Nie
his
utrudniajcie, to jest
freedom.
dobrze.
We must keep him in
Co
the
to?
dark.
Nowy boss. Nowe gemy. Czekaj, imbuet? Supported by level... Ty, 7 linki będą. Tam było supported by level coś tam. 7 linki będą. Active gem, który możesz nasycić support gemem. Nie zajmując slota. Atlas frakturowany. Memory walcy. O kurwa. Nowa sentencja. Duże zmiany, duże zmiany. Dziękuję Jasku pięknie za rajda. Siema chłopaki, siema dziewczyny, siema wszystkim. Dzięki Jasku pięknie, witam. Liga PoE, oglądamy zapowiedź nowej ligi.
In today's stream, we'll take you on a deep dive into Path of Exile Mirage, where you'll unravel ancient mysteries, unlock new powerful rewards, and become part of the eons-old story of the Winter Sekima. There are also significant in-game changes coming alongside Mirage, including a progression of the in-game storyline, a new in-game atlas system, and as always, new rewards to match. After that, we want to talk about the slew of new Holy Templar skills and supports, as well as an additional
40.
Sensi class option added to the Scion, which some of you may find familiar. Next, we'll cover our new supporter packs.
Nowa
And then
ascendancja dla
lastly,
Siona.
a live Q&A session, where Ziggy D will ask Path of Exile game director Mark, as well as game designer Octavian, your questions from Twitch chat. After the live stream, we'll drop the full patch notes at 11 AM NZT or 2 PM PST. So let's get started. I'll hand things over to Mark to introduce the new league.
Hi.
Oj,
I'm Mark
zmęczony
Roberts,
wygląda.
Game Director
To
on
znaczy,
Path of Exile.
dobra liga będzie.
In Path of Exile Mirage, you'll be taking on the Aphrodite, a sect of desert-dwelling necromancers who have lingered in the shadows for centuries. They are outcasts of outcasts, with no home or promised land.
Co to za narośl?
Instead, they seek their sovereignty through darker means.
Nowy mob, nie było chyba.
The Aphrodite have captured the souls of Jinn throughout Rayclast. They are killing them, sapping their energies for purposes unknown. You must fight your way past the Aphrodite's necromantic creations to find the captive Jinn. Here, Virashta, an ancient Marakith sorceress, has been doing what she can to protect the Jinn, but she needs your help to free them.
Ale
After
robi
successfully
zjękami czary.
defeating them, you will then be asked by Virashta to enter the Astral Realm and break the tether trapping the Jinn there. This gate to the Astral Realm is a mirage, an imperfect copy of the area around the captured Jinn.
Wchodzisz do Miraża, jak
Now,
do Volta
when we
Alwy.
say an imperfect copy, we mean that quite literally. Hold tight, because this leak mechanic has some serious implications for juicing areas.
O!
We'll get to that in a moment.
Czyli będzie można
Virashta
Czyli
can
clear
augment
mapek.
the magic of the
Czyli
Mirage
clear
Firm,
mapek będzie
as she
pojebany,
allows you to
ważny.
enter,
Mapowanie.
giving you the option to choose one of 3 wishes before you do so.
What is your desire?
These
100% more
wishes are
maps.
modifiers that will apply to the Mirage area and have some pretty potent outcomes.
Ty
There are
fajne.
wishes that grant extra rewards, such as the wish for glyphs, which causes all portal and wisdom scrolls in the Mirage to instead drop as other currencies. Or
Fajne,
wishes
podoba
that
mi
will
się.
spawn rewarding
Z
enemies,
kim ty gadasz? On cię nie
such as the
słyszy.
wish for avarice,
Jezus,
which
do siebie.
replaces a number of packs in the area with gilded enemies that convert their equipment drops to gold. And wishes that can grant you extreme power while inside the Mirage,
Soliterka
such as
dostajesz.
the wish for souls or the
Nieśmiertelność.
wish for godhood, which allow you to consume the souls of your enemies or make
W
you
końcu będzie można
completely
buildami
unkillable.
Fubguna zagrać.
While
Jak
within the
nieśmiertelność
Mirage,
się
of course.
dostaje.
Each wish is also marked with the sigil of one of three powerful djinn: the Sand Djinn,
No.
Fire Djinn,
I o co chodzi z nimi?
or
Sigile.
Water Djinn. Depending on the sigil chosen, monsters within the affected Mirage will have a small chance to drop one of three new coin currencies:
Kurde, chyba fajne.
a coin of knowledge,
Korupcja
coin
level
of
2.
power, or coin of skill.
Fajne. Fajne.
Each of these coins can be used on a
Jestem
max
imbu
level
tych
skill gem,
gemów.
corrupting it and augmenting it with a random support that matches the color of the coin used.
Czyli nie no, bardzo przyjemne i prosta
Only one
mechanika.
skill that is imbued
Prosty
this way
i
can be
gamba.
socketed into a given
To lubię.
equipment item at a time, meaning you cannot have two imbued skill gems in your body armor.
No, to
as an
byłoby
example.
pojebane.
Choose what you wish
That's one of the rewards, but let's get back to the area-to-area mechanic.
for you.
13
Once
link
you've
sorty
made your
będą?
choice of
Nie.
wish,
Znaczy,
enter the Mirage and fight your way through the monsters and
Nie możesz
actual
mieć dwóch
hazards
imbu
to find the
skill
tether
gemów
holding the djinn.
w jednej części
Shatter this
equipmentu.
chain to free the djinn, step by step weakening whatever dark plans the Ufarood may have for Rayclast. Wishes are not the only value a Mirage has to offer to an enterprising exile. As we mentioned earlier, Mirages are an imperfect copy of the area the djinn occupies in Rayclast, and it will copy almost anything,
To przecież
as long
nawet
as it's within the domain of the djinn.
to jest liga pod Fubguna chyba.
Mirages created from an endgame map, for instance, will have all Scarab, Atlas, and map modifiers the area had.
Okej.
Mirages created next to a strongbox will have a new strongbox ready for you to open. Blights can
Nie
be
zrozumiałem
defended
tego.
again,
A, dobra, okej.
legions fought once more, and so on. Effectively, you get a portion of your map to play a second time. And everything you did to enhance the content of that map applies in the Mirage too. These recreated
Razy
copies
dwa.
of League mechanics, however, have been warped into reality by the power of the Mirage. And this has some side effects. For one, a recreation may not be perfect. The factions of a legion may differ from the one the Mirage copied. Or the variety of strongboxes may change. More importantly, the mechanic may be empowered, with new threats and rewards that are customized to each mechanic and are only available when doing that mechanic in the Mirage. For example, ultimatums recreated in Mirages will have new threatening modifiers added to the usual pool. Restless Ground can raise slain enemies to fight again, or Quicksand will grasp at your ankles. As a reward for these new threats, Mirage ultimatums can provide the new Sinistral or Dextral
Co to jest
catalysts.
Dextra Catalyst?
These catalyze jewelry with increased effect of
Sufiksy na
either
ringu.
prefix or suffix modifiers. As you can imagine, there's a lot of potential here. Another example is that Kalgurin ore recreated in the Mirage has a chance to be replaced by a Thaumaturgic Hourglass, a powerful magical device that your Kalgurin friends can mine in order to obtain vast quantities of Thaumaturgic dust.
Aha.
Blight encounters recreated in Mirages have one of their lanes replaced by Ufarood enemies.
Nigdy Blightów nie gram. Dla mnie to jest taka nuda, że ło jasny gwint, ale ponoć są mocne.
This lane can reward a
Nigdy nie
new
gram
base
tego.
type, the Cord
Odkąd
Belt.
wyszedł, nie zagrałem ligi pod
The
Blighty.
implicit of this belt allows it to be anointed, causing it to grant a passive tree notable of your choosing.
Ta? Ta. O, czekaj, co to było?
As a quick note,
Co to było?
Imprisoned
Czemu na
Jinn will
pasku był?
generally be near the content they can empower in the Mirages. So you
A, no i
don't
na-
need to worry too much about getting lucky with where your content generates in an area. As the campaign doesn't generally contain too much
Ah, ma
additional new
sombrero.
content for the Mirages to empower, we've gone and added a whole bunch that will force spawn near the Jinn. So your campaign experience will double down on being more action-packed and rewarding. Now, of course, if you're traveling through Mirages,
No.
encountering new enemies, and slaying them, you can expect to find some new uniques.
Nowy Mageblad jakiś, taki
The
chase
Upper Root are
item.
not only torturers, but thieves, and have over the centuries stolen away priceless Maraketh artifacts.
Tylko nie jakieś gówno.
Using their powers of rot and disease, they have twisted these items to suit their own purposes. Flesh Render is one such artifact.
Physical
An
damage?
ancient and exquisite Maraketh blade that has been tarnished and befouled.
Coś z
Its
poisonami.
rusted and jagged edge is perfect for poisoning and withering your enemies.
To nie może być
However,
turbo drogie, bo
The
jak dla
Rushta has in
wszystkich
her
jest,
command the power to restore these once lost Maraketh treasures to their former glory.
to jest większe zastosowanie
Acquiring
itemu,
a
a
coin
tylko
of
pod poisony
restoration
to...
by slaying monsters in Mirages allows any unique obtained from the Upper Root to be transformed into its Maraketh counterpart,
Co?
its glorious original form. Flesh Render, for example, transforms into Sky Sunder. The original
To coś jak
Maraketh
mechanika w
blade
breachach
that
z tymi
radiates with the
blessingami
glowing
czajuli.
heat of the desert sun. When you ignite monsters, Sky Sunder reflects that ignite back to you, which proliferates to nearby enemies in a massive area. If you meddle with the affairs of the Upper Root for too long, though, you may draw the ire of the Mirage League's new in-game boss,
O,
Suresh of the Weeping Black.
Saresz.
Suresh also has a set of powerful, exclusive items. Yours for the
O
taking,
kurna, ciekawe.
if you're able to defeat him.
Ciekawe, Diamond Shine permanentny masz buff
So
efekt, jak
that's
nie masz
the
flaszek
Mirage
aktywnej
League.
i jeszcze Resistance
Now,
Shine efekt.
To face all the new
Permanentne
evils,
kapliczki.
you might want some righteous skills, some holy skills. In 328, you'll have access to a slew of new options to bring divine devastation and return the faithless to their
A to było
rightful
pod RF-a ten
graves.
itemek?
We're also introducing some supports to go with them, as well as some new transfigured gems. Let's go over a few examples.
Ja bym RF-em zagrał, może
With
nawet na
holy
krakowskim.
hammers, you slam the ground to call down a hammer of justice from the sky. If
Fajne.
this hits an enemy, an additional holy hammer will cascade forwards, which itself can further cascade, and so forth.
Fajne, ale we własnym zakresie może niech
Expending
sobie
a power
zagrają tym
charge when
buildem
using
ludzie.
the skill will call down an additional
akurat.
2 hammers, which
Deal.
can also cause cascading slams.
Pojebanie to
The
wygląda.
more numerous your foes, the more instruments of holy judgment.
Lepszy smite? Fajnie wygląda.
Sweep is an old skill. In fact,
to co to za
it is so
gówno?
old that it's one of the very first skills ever implemented in Path of Exile. Over
Nigdy nie widziałem, żeby
15
ktoś
years
grał
ago.
pod to. 15
It's
lat ten
been
skill ma.
long overdue for some attention.
15 lat? Co?
With 328, it has been reworked into Holy Sweep. This skill converts some of your physical damage to lightning, with shiny new effects to match. Some enemies struck by the initial sweep will have hammers of light batter them from above. These hammers cause area damage where they land, so clustered enemies are demolished by repeated
Skill
impacts.
dla unców.
When
Jakich
successfully
unców?
hitting an enemy with Holy Strike,
Co to
you'll
znaczy
summon
unców?
forth a floating holy armament, a glowing mace that follows you closely. These weapons are minions,
Unc,
and will
dziadek.
attack with Holy Strike themselves
Nie,
whenever
dalej nie
you
rozumiem.
do. These holy armaments will copy the stats of your main hand weapon to deal their damage.
Unc. Co unc?
Stand against your foes with Shield of Light, a retaliation skill which will allow you to unleash a cone of holy light upon enemies after blocking a hit
Nigdy
with
nie
your
będzie
shield.
grał, kurwa, co to
Additional
jest?
cones of light will also pour forth from your
O.
nearby allies when you hit with the skill, allowing you to recruit your holy army to create purging light. Divine Blast emits a beam of holy light from your shield.
Mam ochotę Alt F4
Coalescing
nacisnąć,
into a hovering
mimo że nie
ball
mam
of
gry
energy.
nawet odpalonej. Jak
A
widzę,
few
jak to
moments later,
zapiernicza
this
po mapach.
unstable orb bursts,
Mi się wkurwił, że
exploding
gówno
outward
wybrałem
with divine
znowu.
power. Hello supports melee attacks, causing them to inflict a new debuff, Hellowing Flame. Hellowing Flame builds up as charges on enemies, getting consumed when attacked.
Ładnie błyszczy, no.
Consuming a stack of Hellowing Flame gives the attack that consumed it a significant amount of extra fire
A
damage.
moby nie chcą
But only
zginąć.
those who did not inflict the hallowing flame are able to consume it. Perfect for those of you who enjoy a more supportive playstyle with your army of holy sentinels.
Ta.
Or friends, when they're online.
Oj.
We've also added sources of this debuff to a number of other places,
Pokażcie jakiś
such
pojebany
as
unik
unique
nowy.
items, cluster jewels, and the Guardian Ascendancy class. We also have another batch of new transfigured gems, with many of these being variants for gems which previously had none. One example is the Shockwave Totem of Authority, which casts its higher damage dealing Nova at your location instead of its own.
Co?
You might
Totem,
also
który
enjoy
stawiasz i
all
zamiast
of
bić
storms
totemem,
of
to z
squalls.
siebie pulsuje to.
These storms warp directly to
Niby
targets when
totem,
you
a
use
działa
lightning
jak
skills,
aura
and
jakaś.
arc lightning
DV,
upon doing so.
nie wiem, jakiś RF, ale...
This gives you a mobile storm of destruction that follows you as you dive into battle. We'll leave the rest of the transfigured skills for you to comb through in the patch notes. Speaking of the patch notes, as always, we love to shake up the meta.
Pewnie
So we've done a
wszystko
bunch of
znerfione.
balance adjustments to a few other things as well, such as a pass on bloodline classes, expanded the
Jezu, ale
passives
oni mają
available
łeb,
to the
żeby to
Templar section of
wszystko
the
było
passive tree,
balansowane,
and
się
various
spinało.
improvements to existing holy themed skills such as Static Strike,
To jest tak złożone, że
Holy
to jest
Flame
szok.
Totem,
Żeby to wszystko było dograne, działało,
And
niepobugowane. Tyle liczb, co tam w tle się robi, jak klikasz prawy na grupkę mobów, to...
we're also doing our
pojebana
usual
gra.
improvement to some of the least played Ascendancy classes. This time with a focus on Guardian and Warden.
Nie no, czy lubisz, czy nie lubisz, to jest jedna z najlepiej zrobionych gier
Speaking
chyba,
of
jakie istnieją,
Ascendancies,
PoE.
let's
Naprawdę,
talk
no.
about the Scion and her new
W swoim gatunku
Valkyrian
jest
Ascendancy class.
przedobra, no, ta gra.
For
Jest
those that have
super,
played
no.
the Legacy of Frisia events, this class will seem familiar. The Reliquarian is a learned
A, se
scion
siedzi.
that has studied history at the Oriath Academy. She is a part of a secret society of Oriathans, dedicated to collecting and discerning the strange properties of unique items. All of her passive powers come from these unique items, found from throughout Rayclast. After ascending, first select the power of a unique armor. Victario's influence
Cześć.
increases the level of all your auras and gives them a much larger area of effect. Or instead, take Kilowava's Bluster, giving you a chance to have extreme elemental resistance against incoming
Ale to jest
hits.
całkiem inna ascendancja nowa, czy co to
Next,
jest? Bo jakoś nie
pick from
doszło
a
do mnie.
unique weapon power.
Się zawiesiłem na chwilę.
Widow
Co to
Hail
jest?
greatly increases the bonuses gained from your quiver. Or Martyr's Teaching,
Nowa
which
ascendancja.
causes your minions' critical strike chance with attacks to be equal to your main hand weapons. Lastly,
Yes.
pick your crown jewel, a unique jewelry power. Astral Projector causes Nova spells to cast from enemies rather than from yourself. Or take Astramentus, simply
Ciekawe
giving you a
też.
huge boost to all your attributes. Due to all the ways you can mix and match unique powers, the Reliquarian has more flexibility in how you build it compared to any other Ascendancy class in the game. Our plan going forward is for the
fajny
Reliquarian to
skinek.
not be a
Fajna
static
peleryna.
Ascendancy class.
Nic nie
between
rozumiesz?
each
Nie no, coś
expansion,
tam
the
rozumiem.
unique powers which are offered will change.
Z połowę rozumiem.
If you don't like what she offers this expansion, hopefully
Zawsze-
she'll have the power of
Jak
your favorite unique
przedstawiają
item
nowe
in the next
skille, to
one.
zazwyczaj ciężko.
Time to move on to the endgame.
With this
No,
expansion,
teraz
we
ważne.
are aiming to
Cisza.
liven up the endgame, giving players new experiences, strategies to leverage, and streamlining or removing the more frustrating tasks.
No.
Extensive changes will be coming to the Atlas
Oh.
and how you engage with maps,
O.
without interfering with the beloved core experience that has made mapping so successful.
In the last few endgame updates, you experienced Zana's story. How she helped defeat the Elder, tried to stop exiles from going mad in the Atlas,
No.
and faced new threats pouring forth from it.
Chyba tak.
In the most recent expansion, she eventually realized that there was only one way forward: to destroy the Atlas.
Robiłem to.
Zana's recent actions have now weakened the already strained and tattered edges of its realities, reshaping how we interact with the Atlas entirely.
To explain how this changes your interactions with the
Ale
Atlas,
dydaski ma.
we
To
first want to establish some context while having a bit of a trip down memory lane.
fajne, podobają mi się te butwy.
27 expansions ago, back in Path of Exile 3.1.0, The War for the Atlas, we had a mechanic on the Atlas where the Shaper and Elder were engaged in war. This manifested as influence regions on the Atlas that affected specific maps. The ever-changing influence regions made the Atlas feel more like a physically connected space, rather than just a fancy way of visualizing a checklist of completed maps. However, one of the main frustrations with this mechanic was that you constantly needed many different specific maps in order to manipulate the influenced regions.
We realized we'd love to again have mechanics that manifest physically on your Atlas, but we'd have to address the issue of always needing those specific
Idą w stronę
maps.
PoE 2 endgame chyba
The
tego, że
first
se
major
klikasz.
change we'll be making to solve this is divorcing map items from specific areas. As an example,
O ja
instead of
pierdolę.
having a Mesa map, you will now find, say, a Tier 10 map. To open a Mesa map now,
Nie no.
just locate and select Mesa on your Atlas, put in your map item, click activate, and you're good to go.
Nie jestem pewien, czy mi się to podoba, przyznam, nie lubi mi... Znaczy, czekać.
That Mesa may drop a Tier 11 map. You can then immediately return to your map device, which will default to the last map run, and then run it again. Or choose a new map to use it on. It's your choice.
Nie, musiałbym chyba zobaczyć w in-game, jak to wygląda, bo tak...
This is one of the many benefits to this change, which is that if you are the type of player who enjoys chaining the same map over and over, or the type of player who prefers to jump around, it is equally easy to do either strategy or even switch between them at a moment's notice. For example, if one day you're farming burial chambers, hoping to eventually get a headhunter from divination cards, and you decide you need a change of rhythm, you can seamlessly swap to your boss farming Atlas tree and spam Mesa for peak boss killing efficiency. Up until now, this would have required having some Mesa maps stashed, setting all your favorite maps to Mesa, or doing a whole bunch of trading. You'll also notice that the structure of the Atlas has changed. If you haven't played in a while, here's a look at it before and after. You will now begin at the center of the Atlas, with each corner housing one of 4 Voidstone slots. In addition, all content accessed from your map device now exists physically on the Atlas,
Czyli jak dostaniesz
so
się
you
do
can see
cornera,
everything available in the endgame as you reveal the Fog of War. This also means that all unique maps are now present on the Atlas, including some old favorites that are appearing for the first time. Don't worry though.
nie wiem,
don't
musiałbym
need to
in-game
complete
zobaczyć,
all
bo
of Grandmasters
chyba nie
every day.
ogarniam w pełni tej mechaniki,
You
przyznam.
now gain 1 Atlas skill point per unique map completed, up to a maximum of 10. Given there are
Możesz
around
tłumaczyć?
20
Nie
unique
rozumiem
maps,
niestety
you
w pełni
only
tej
need to
mechaniki.
complete the half you want, if you can get your hands on them.
Pierdolą w
Note, you
piszą,
aren't
sami nie wiedzą, o
losing
co
any
chodzi
Atlas skill
pewnie.
points. These have been
Tak
moved
se
to new
piszą
places,
tylko.
and actually, you can get more than before. Due to Zana's actions, Egan now has a new goal and is determined to stop Zana's destruction by making use of a mysterious new discovery: arcane astrolabes.
Aha.
Zana is
A czy
currently
czasem
traversing
skaraby
the
tego nie
threads
robiły?
that weave the Atlas together, severing them. With these new astrolabes, Egan is able to trace her movement, but using them
Usunęli
causes
sekstanty,
dangerous
żeby
side
zmienić
effects.
grafikę potem i dodać na nowo je
When you
z
use
inną
an
nazwą.
astrolabe on a map on the Atlas, a shaped region will manifest itself in that quadrant, affecting many of the maps within it. There are many different kinds of
kurna
astrolabes, and they apply different types of shaped
Tablety,
regions.
tylko takie zmodyfikowane.
For example, an abyssal region, which causes all the maps to have an additional abyss. Or a blighted region, which adds a blight encounter.
No ale to wtedy cię forsuje, żebyś robił inne mapy, aniżeli tą, co chcesz, bo musisz region dany
Completing the
robić. w sumie.
content added by the astrolabe
Ale
will remove
zmian,
the shaped region's
kurwica, nie
influence
wiem
from
co
that
się
map.
dzieje. Zmienili cały
Upon
endgame w
doing
sumie.
so, every other map remaining in the shaped region will gain an additional modifier. This means as you progress through the shaped region, maps you run will become more and more intense,
A można wszystkie w jeden region
with the
wjebać?
relevant mechanic getting more and more juiced.
Żeby były takie full zjuicowane?
Finally, At the end of the region of maps, once you have successfully rid the atlas of the shaped region, Egan will take you to one of 4 memory vaults, where there are powerful rewards to be had. He cares only for the knowledge hidden within that vault, so any items are yours for the taking. Each vault is associated with a specific quadrant on the atlas, so you're able to target a certain vault if you're wanting to try get a specific type of reward.
The effect of chill
One
on you
such
is
vault
reversed.
is the Archon's Vault, where you'll be rewarded with powerful unique items. Or the Zealot's Vault, to acquire valuable currency items. This new shaped region system is one that promotes running many different maps. But for players that want to engage with this new system while still wanting to run the same map over and over again, the synthesized stability keystone on the Atlas tree enables exactly that. With all the new endgame changes, we thought it would be also good to mention some handy tips and tricks for quickly navigating the new Atlas. When using the map device, the Atlas defaults to your previously run map, so running the same map over and over is as few clicks as possible. You can right-click unique maps or map fragments in your inventory to automatically open your Atlas to that location with the map already placed and ready to run.
Okej.
When you select a special area that requires multiple items, such as to fight at Zeri or open the Domain of Timeless Conflict, if you have the fragments to access that in your inventory, it will automatically add them to the map device in the right spot. That's the core of the new endgame. But there's a lot more endgame changes coming in 3.28. Let's blast through them.
Dalsze zmiany
Over the last few
endgame'owe.
expansions, we've been working on streamlining the mapping experience. And we wanted to continue to minimize busy work so you can spend more time doing what you love, killing monsters and getting loot.
Wprowadzają płatnego peta,
To
co
that
zbiera
end,
loot.
we've made a number of changes.
Żeby nie trzeba było
We won't
klikać.
get into too much detail, but here's a quick summary of what you can expect to
Ale
have
jajca
received
by były.
adjustment. We've removed cartographer's chisels and map device crafts entirely.
O
The
kurna.
loss of content and loot here has been compensated for in other places.
25% quant bonus.
Void Stones now grant special global bonuses while socketed on your Atlas, including adding the new Originator Void Stone, which enables specific Atlas
Piąty Void
bosses
Stone.
to drop exceptional supports. We'll elaborate more on that in the
Ja
next section.
pier ile zmian, to trzeba zagrać, zobaczyć,
T17
bo
maps,
to
as you
już...
know it,
No już
have
nawet nie wiem jak
effectively
ocenić
been
to.
removed. The bosses have been kept around, and they better fulfill their original purpose of being a
A co ze
gateway to
skarabami?
target farm
Tylko
uber
skarabu
pinnacle
miałem.
bosses.
Jest takie deki.
The most annoying modifiers on Originator maps have been removed or replaced. No more getting turned into a slug for simply using skills.
O.
And no more will you be incapable of dealing damage periodically. Petal skills in
Żaden
Originator
build prawie
maps have
tego nie
been
mógł grać.
removed. However, some of their effects are now available from the altars and memory threads. Memory tears, instead of adding a memory thread to your
Pojebani
Atlas,
ile oni
will
dodali.
now drop an
Nie,
itemized
no,
version
no.
of that thread,
Dodali
allowing you to save it for later
taką
or trade it
ilość,
at your leisure.
że
We've
to
added new
popierniczone.
scarabs, such as this Expedition Scarab of Infusion, which can generate some truly tempting logbooks.
4 implicity logbooki będą
And
miały.
for those of you looking to take on the ultimate one-on-one fight, the Anarchy Scarab of the Exceptional will place a
O
true antagonist
kurwica,
level
to
rogue
pewnie
exile threat in your map.
Zdżusowany ten
Empowered
Rogue
by
Exile.
every type of Wildwood Wisp, possessed by a
O
tormented
chuj,
spirit,
co
augmented
jest?
with rare monster modifiers, and
Ale
affected
będą
by a shrine.
eksplozje pojebane
This
z tego
exile is
pewnie
not to be
lutu.
trifled with.
To będzie taki skurwol
Alongside that,
ciężki
we've
do
also
zabicia.
changed some, such as the
Spufowany
Beyond
wszystkim,
Scarab of
czym się da.
Resurgence, which now causes all 3 Beyond bosses to appear when a Beyond boss would spawn in your map.
Miesiąc z połu będzie, szykujcie się, super będzie.
On top of that, we've made improvements to a number of weak Atlas Tree passives, such as Pillage and Plunder, which now grants a chance
Mówię
for
tak
items
co
dropped by
ligę, a
Syndicate
kultuję
members
po tygodniu,
to
jak
have
co,
a
spokojnie.
Fractured Veiled mod. Check out the new The Paths Not Taken Keystone, which means your maps on average will drop twice as many
kurwa,
divination
fajne.
cards.
Fajne,
But which
podoba mi
ones
się
can
to.
drop will be
Stranda
a
będzie
mystery.
można latać. Czyli
And
będzie
last,
można latać z
but
Tranda
not
i
least,
dropnąć coś fajnego,
we've
a nie
also
samo
made some
gówno.
changes to King's March shipping,
Fajna
such
nota.
as we've swapped the rewards given by sending ore and crops. I wonder what this new port will send back.
Nie lubię tych
Ports will now
statków,
give
zawsze
more
nuda
rewards
dla mnie,
for
ale
favored resources.
ponoć są worth.
And you can even re-roll them for gold, if they're not offering what you're after.
Nigdy tego nie robię.
Specific ports will now reward specific tattoos and rune grafts,
Ale to
making it easier to target the ones you want.
Ponoć mocne to jest.
Not to mention, the Kalgurans have discovered several new, powerful rune grafts for you to get your hands on,
Plus jest taki, że statki z
such
każdym
as
stratem
the Rune
mapowanym
Graft of
działają
Fury,
prawie.
which causes you to gain rage on using a life flask, and the Rune Graft of Resurgence, which causes Arcane Surge to also grant life regeneration. We mentioned earlier about the Originator Voidstone enabling
że będą
access to
bossy
exceptional
specjalne, co
supports.
dropią gemy jakieś
So let's get
exceptional.
into that, as there's a decent amount to cover.
Jakie gemy? Pewnie
After
będą
defeating the incarnations of Fear, Neglect,
nowy
and
Voidstone.
Dread, you will obtain the Originator Voidstone. As mentioned earlier,
Nightmare
this
map.
Voidstone allows
Nightmare
new,
map.
exceptional support gems to drop from many bosses across the Atlas. These new supports are an improvement over the old Awakened support system, which is being phased out. Awakened supports have long been a capstone investment for a character, but there's existed a gulf between the more interesting ones, such as Awakened Spell Cascade, which has some additional transformative effect, as opposed to some of the simpler Awakened supports, which just have slightly higher numerical values. Exceptional supports
Czyli lepsze niż
will all be
Awakened, nawet
transformative,
piątka. To
serving
było.
as an additional late-game tool to customize your build around, and extending character customization and creation even later into a build's life. One of the goals here is to provide interesting build choices
Ile jeszcze
even
tej
at later
straki?
levels and
Chwilkę
deep
jeszcze.
into the endgame.
Jest
However,
tyle zmian, że
we
już
are
nie
certainly
wiem.
not aiming to reduce top-end player power with these changes. Exceptional supports will still be super strong. If used well, they will catapult your character even further than before. So, how many are there, and what exactly do they do?
Ja pierniczę.
There are over 40
Jebnięci są
new
z
exceptional
tymi zmianami.
supports to discover, adding
Jezus
additional
Maria.
enticing drops to bosses that may otherwise have felt not as worthwhile to run, giving players extra reason
To
to
są
take on
same
those
support gemy,
challenges.
to co pokazują. Same nowe support gemy, te
For
exceptional.
instance, from the King in the
Albo
Mists,
zwykłe
we
nawet.
have the Hex Toad support. This support creates areas of swampy, cursed ground, which spawns
Jezus
toads
Maria.
that bounce towards enemies
Nasrać
and
tylko
then
jeszcze.
explode, dealing chaos damage. From the Uber Elder, we have the Void Storm support, which causes your raining attacks to create celestial storms of energy that grow over time, detonating as you approach for massive damage. Defeating the incarnation of Neglect may
A
win you the
Wiktorka nie ma i
Frostmage
nie może
support.
popisać nawet na
Similar
revealu
to the
PoE,
existing
że
Archmage
fajnie
support,
albo coś.
you are rewarded for stacking mana
Normalnie
to enhance
wypisał
your
i się
spells
cieszył.
with
A
extraordinary
pewnie ogląda na
damage.
incognito.
We'll tease
Czy
some more
coś.
of these before launch,
Nie na
but there
innym
will
koncie by nie
many,
łamał
many more for you
pewno.
to discover.
zakazów.
Keepers of the Flame is coming back. However,
Nie pamiętam
we
co to
do
było.
know that many players have issues with the walls and
Co to
hive
było?
encounters.
Keepers of the Flame?
In order to address these concerns, we'll be making a number of changes. One of the biggest problems is that walls would block your projectiles,
Poprzednia liga?
meaning that when a hive randomly spawned on your map,
Jezus.
it would make it harder to clear. In order to prevent that, walls and hive encounters will now be destroyed by any damage.
A,
But we also wanted to make sure we reduce the visual
To
clutter
git
they
nawet.
cause. Hives and their walls are now smaller. To allow players to engage with hive encounters quicker when they do want to help Aelith,
kurde, nie
we've
pamiętam co
added a
tam
new
było
Atlas
dokładnie w
passive
tym
which
Keepers of the
drastically
Flame.
increases the detonation area of unstable burrows,
Już mi się dwójka z
causing
jedynką
them to
jebie.
reliably chain react and destroy the majority of remaining walls. For those who don't want to deal with the walls at all, there's now a pair of keystones that allow you to block hive encounters or unstable breaches, if you want.
O,
Now that this is a core league, we don't want you to have to grow your Genesis tree from scratch on every league
fajna,
start.
fajna notka.
So now, each wound gift slot is already usable by default, and access to the Monastery of the Keepers will be
Pamiętam już,
gained by
pamiętam,
finding
te
Aelith
bomby.
starting in Act 6 Mudflats. Now with Atlas Tree and Scarab support, you can have multiple unstable breach encounters active in a single area for maximum ruckus. Speaking of Atlas Tree
Ale
and Scarab
backtrackować
support,
będzie.
we've added plenty. Here are a few examples. The Massing Forces Atlas notable grants a
Ty, fajne
chance
to
to have
może być.
additional
Będę
unstable
zapieprzał
breaches
stack
in your
deki.
maps.
Ja lubiłem to, fajne to może być. Znaczy lubiłem to,
The
o
Breach
ile nie
Scarab
trafiało
of
z
the
wolami
Marshal
się.
guarantees a breach boss or high fortress,
A teraz możesz notkami
while the
zablokować
Breach
w
Scarab
Atlasie,
of the
żeby nie było
Incensed
wallu.
Swarm replaces all of Aelith's skills with Enrage the Hive, increasing the difficulty and reward from Hive monsters in all subsequent waves. Graft items will no longer exist, but we've moved several of the graft skills to new exceptional supports, such as the Hive-born support, which summons an army of breach minions to do your bidding when you use a supported offering skill.
To jest chyba jeden z największych
And
patchy,
the
jakie
Foul
miały
Grasp
miejsce w
support,
PoE1. Nie
which
pamiętam,
calls
kiedy
forth
tak
a field of
gigantyczny patch
grasping
był.
breach hands when you recall
To jest
brand,
przeolbrzymi,
exploding for heavy
gigantyczny
lightning
patch.
damage when enemies approach them.
Nie
We're
wiem, kiedy
looking
taki
forward
był
to seeing how
ostatni.
these improvements and additions are received, alongside a lot of what Keepers also has to
Oni
offer.
PoE
From the new
1.5
bosses in their
wypuszczają.
bloodline, through to the Genesis tree and its many different crafting options, like Foulborn Uniques. Also with its new narrative, we look forward to extrapolating on all of this and learning more about Aelith, the Hiveborn, and its Breach Lords in the future.
Aha, czyli
That
się
covers all
rozwinie
the
jeszcze.
new content we're adding, and that was a lot.
Tak,
From a new in-game system, several new reward types, new ways to juice maps, all of which you can double up in the new Mirage League, and all that alongside a suite of new holy skills, a new ascendancy class, and an insane amount of new character customization in the endgame. However, an important part of Path of Exile expansions is making sure there is a continued effort to improve quality of life. So let's get into that now.
no. To
You
takie
can now
pierdołki, ale
favorite trades on the currency
to wiem.
exchange. This consists of selecting two currencies that you want to be able to trade between with a single click, and setting them as a favorite trade. Favorite trades will appear by default on opening the currency exchange, and will still auto-suggest a ratio based on recent trade data.
Spoko.
A further improvement to the currency exchange is the ability to
Useless?
open and interact
Takie-
with your stash while you have the exchange window open.
Fajnie, że jest, ale nie wiadomo,
Now,
nie.
when trading in a full set of divination cards,
wiadomo, to
it will
nie jest jakieś
automatically be
mega
handed
useful.
in to become
Ale
the
przydatne.
resultant item. If you then turn in another set immediately, the reward from the previous set will be transferred to your inventory directly, assuming there's enough free space to do so.
Wiem już o tym, bo patrzyłem na
Labyrinth font
Twitterku.
crafts that previously gave a random transfigured gem now allow you to choose which transfigured gem of that type you'd like to receive.
A to też już wiem, też patrzyłem na Twitterku.
The asynchronous trade item sale history is now hoverable,
A to
with
też już wiem.
full item descriptions of the sold item. When using Divine Orbs, you can now tell exactly
Mi
which
wszystko
modifiers to be
wysyłacie i
randomized.
potem nowinek nie mam, bo już wszystko widziałem.
The ritual icon will now glow if you've
To
got
też wiem.
significant unspent tribute in an area and all rituals are complete.
Brat śledzi newsy z
And a
PoE na
pop-up will appear
Twitterze.
after the
Tak.
final ritual completion. Also on the topic of ritual, you can
Czemu to tak
now
brzmi
quick
dziwnie?
use vessels on completed rituals.
Spolszczone.
Have you ever tried to click a divine shrine, surrounded by enemies, and find it extremely difficult to click? Well, shrines now take priority over monsters when clicking in an area
Dobra,
they
już
overlap.
Q&A zaczynajcie i koniec tego.
Since 3.24, we've
O.
been looking to add new ways
A,
to
to też
improve the
wiem
campaign
chyba.
experience, and 3.28 is no different. This patch, we've added over 20 landmark rooms throughout the campaign,
Ukryte te pokoje.
scattered across all 10 acts. Some of these reward some pretty useful
Oh.
stuff, so keep an eye out for the new and unexpected rooms, side passages, chests, and encounters as you progress throughout Rayclast.
Ty, a dalej nie rusz... Aha,
Of these to be a surprise,
robię?
but we'll show you just one.
dalej nie
There is
ruszają
now a
tych Val
small
Area
central island in the
Corrupted.
Karui Fortress.
To jest martwe od tylu
All
lig.
inhabitants of
Czy
which will
grają to
drop a
ludzie?
basic tattoo when slain.
Czy ma to sens, granie tych area po boku, co
Next
są?
up, we're going to be
na
talking
mapach
about our new
wejścia.
supporter packs.
Nie zmieniają tego w
Today,
ogóle
we're
nic.
launching two new series of supporter packs. The Curator of Wisdom and
Grają po
Iron
adornach.
Incarcerator packs.
Cześć.
Each tier contains the pack's full face value in points, alongside several exclusive microtransactions.
Fajna
As
czapka.
always, the microtransactions in these packs are purely cosmetic and do not affect your character's power or progression in any
Małpa,
way.
ale fajny ma ogon.
The Curator of Wisdom series of supporter packs contains 7 exclusive microtransactions.
Podoba mi się ten czarownik, chyba kupię czarownika.
The Traveling Wisdom back attachment has all the necessary tools you may require to chronicle your journey, complete with a helpful rat friend. These chronicles will activate their magic upon identifying items,
Yes.
and will track the number of items identified of each rarity. Just hover the item, or link it in chat to show it off.
Taka katka, szmatka.
The Acquired Wisdom Unique Finisher effect
Ciekawe.
summons an ancient scroll that consumes unique enemies and the knowledge they hold.
Dopamina.
Most exiles would struggle carrying piles of scrolls while traveling Rayclast, but the Grand Curator of Wisdom armor set is perfect for the adventurous scholar. Any expert curator
Kurde,
knows that
Gandalf
scrolls hold
taki.
more than
Nie
just
no,
knowledge.
fajny,
They
fajny.
also hold power.
Fajny skinek.
As you cast spells, the scrolls attached to the
Typowy
armor will
magu.
burn away
Typowy
before
czarodziej.
rematerializing shortly after. It also features a series of helmet variations, so you can get precisely the look you're after. Summon your Scroll Shaper familiar pet to follow alongside you. This creature is formed from folded magical texts and can shapeshift between different forms. You can think of this as having multiple pets in one.
Fenek.
It can fold into a fox and then even burn away, reforming into a flying bird. This series of packs also contains the Scroll Portals. Jumbo-sized versions of the Scroll of Wisdom and Portal
No
Scroll
fajne
that
nawet,
you can
podoba
make
mi
a
się.
quick retreat through. A supreme catalogue of knowledge can't remain in one place for too long and risk being pillaged by thieves.
Ale
The
ładny
Titan
hajdacik.
Apex Hideout features a colossal titan who carries your base of operations atop their shoulders, constantly moving through a boundless desert.
Ja lubię małe hideouty, tylko kurczę, nie wiem czy nie jest za
The
duży
Iron
właśnie.
Incarcerator pack also contains 6 exclusive microtransactions.
Ło kurwa.
The
Ale
Incarcerator's
ładne
Restraints
to
back
było.
attachment
Ładny
features
map
stockades
device.
that were used to immobilize prisoners by binding them to the earth as they were tortured for their wrongdoings. Shackles envelop your choice of torturing device when using the Chains of the Incarcerator weapon effect. These chains shatter into links as you batter enemies. Make your
Interesting.
way through Rayclast as a walking penitentiary, intimidating your enemies with the elite Iron Incarcerator armor set.
To kosztuje $2,500?
After a
Co ty
long day of
pieprzysz?
tracking down criminals, step into the Iron Maiden portal to retreat to your torture chamber.
To też fajne
It
nawet.
acts as a great deterrent for would-be intruders. This
Żelazna dziewica
peculiar
to chyba się
creature was a
nazywało,
favorite
czy nie?
amongst incarcerators. They would be sent into the midst of prison riots to mesmerize and control the toughest of minds. Use their talents to charm
Rueto
other
to
players'
był?
pets, causing them to abandon their owners and follow in line behind you instead, at least until it wears off. What better way to execute prisoners when your torturing has depleted their value? Harvest their
device
souls
taki.
to fuel this map device, condemning them to eternal
Nie
incarceration.
no, fajny, kurde, ten map device
Your
super.
kills within the map are also recorded based on the rarity of the monster.
Ten map device jest chyba do nowego
You can
hideoutu
choose to pin an
przystosowany, czy nie?
execution session that you're satisfied with on this miniature leaderboard, which is displayed for all that dare enter your hideout.
Beach?
Additionally, all microtransactions from these supporter packs will be made available for use in Path of Exile 2.
O, w
Thank
PoE
you
2
so
też można
much for
używać.
your ongoing support. We're just about to start the Q&A with Ziggy D. Afterwards, we'll post the full patch notes for Path of
To już
Exile
we własnym
Mirage
zakresie tego
at 11
Q&A
a.m.
można.
New Zealand time, 2 p.m.
Pa, 100
Pacific.
tysięcy osób na
With release at the end of next
revealu
week,
ligi.
our community team will be posting crucial information you'll need for the release. Keep an eye on the news.